But you know what? Like, I mean, I went with a group of guys. We had a freaking blast.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about.
Who cares
Oh,
about
like,
like?
yeah, was it kind of shitty there? Yeah, but I wasn't there for that. Like, we had a pretty nice place,
Yeah. Dude,
and
I saw your videos. Your place looked nice.
yeah, I mean,
The
it
inside
wasn't.
looked really nice.
Yeah, well, it was pretty good. It had a lot of space. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
perfect, but who cares? And when you split it up between seven of us, it cost
Yeah.
like $350 for the whole week.
Oh my
It's
God.
nothing.
So it was like,
You're gonna have a hard time next year with that, though, right?
I don't think I think we're just going to do hotels because of the location. But and I
I've
had
already
it
got mine
before.
set
It
up.
was just like, whoever wants to come by, come on by.
Right.
Mhm.
I didn't get that invite, but
Well, because you didn't freaking say hi to me.
I had to sleep in my
We're
car. I had to
blowing
sleep
up
in that.
material here.
What's that?
I didn't realize we were live. I'm
We're
in
live, but we went live
live?
a while ago. I didn't tell you.
Oh
Thanks, man.
snap.
Mark Hoyle busted us. What's up, Mark Hoyle? How are you? So we have no idea what we're doing here. We're
Just three dudes from the 80s.
from
Having a-
Pennsylvania, right? From the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
That's right.
All class of '85. Is that what we are?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm 85.
Me
Yeah,
too.
that's us, man. The Thacton Warriors, class of '85.
Are you guys both 85?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I went to
Indians for me.
is it still the Indians? I don't know what we are.
Yeah, they actually still are.
Where'd you graduate from, Ray? Springfield or
Monsignor Bonner.
you're a Bonner guy, it figures,
Is that a
right?
Catholic school?
Yeah, all boys
like
back then, and of course now it's co-ed after I leave.
Yeah, well, it would have been Newman in the city, right? So
Yeah, in Philly, South Philly would have been St.
So
John.
you didn't get to
Newman.
hang out with any of these big-haired girls. You're just hanging out with.
Well,
them.
the
they
school
were
next to
with-
me was Prendergrass, and that was like
Prendergrass.
like
Wow.
20 feet away from us.
Really?
Was
So we
O'Hara
hung out-
around?
We hung out there, really.
I'm sure.
So Don, I want to know about you. I think I have a feeling about Ray, but what kind of music were you into in 1985?
Oh, heavy metal, man.
No, really?
Yeah.
Give me your band. Give me your top band.
Oh, Skid Row, Warren.
No, that's not in
Hey.
high school. That's after high school.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go.
Man, I was big into Night Ranger.
Okay.
Huge
All
Night
right. Well, I mean, Ray and I might not call that heavy metal. but okay.
Ranger. Okay. Well, you said high school. Okay, so maybe I wasn't into heavy metal in high school.
Yeah, you were probably. I'm guessing you might have been in the Duran Duran gang, right?
Oh God, no.
Flock of Seagulls.
No, I hated all that crap.
So my
I was
favorite.
actually in high school. I was into Van Halen.
Oh, well, there
There
you
you
go.
go.
you
that's
know, the
acceptable.
70s stuff.
Yeah.
Just-
Well, Van Halen was
Lynyrd
huge.
Skynyrd is one of my
Right.
all-time favorite bands. I have a brother who's 13 years older than me, and back in the day, he had all these records. I would just listen to his records.
Right.
So I got into
How
his-
many years older than you?
What's that?
How many years older? Was
13.
you? Wow, man. That's
And I have one that's
crazy.
14 and one that's 16 years older than me.
Wow.
Wow.
And,
My oldest brother was he had the Doors stuff, and he had.
Yeah, I
he
never
was a
got
Beatle
into the
guy,
Doors.
but yeah,
but I'm big into Southern rock.
Yeah.
You know,
freedom rock they call that.
Led Zeppelin, the Stones, Floyd.
It's the same bands for me.
You know, love Fleetwood Mac, love Stevie Nicks.
Mark Hoyle, remind me on a future episode. I'm going to tell my Greg Allman story. Okay,
Oh,
so I'll have to whip that one out. That'll be dedicated to Mark Hoyle, my Greg Allman story.
John, did you ever go to a concert at the Tower?
Yes, I saw my first concert. I saw Kiss on the Lick It Up tour there, Accept open up for them. So that was their first tour.
I
with them.
saw
They got-
Accept there with Crocus.
So I saw them open up. That was with Vinnie Vincent, and it was with Eric
Oh,
Carr.
nice.
And Vinnie Vincent had a hissy fit, ran off stage.
It sounds like him.
I think he broke
Doing
a
that-
heel or a nail.
the Tower.
Yeah, the Tower
Yeah.
Theater is a pretty legendary place.
Yes, it's in Upper Darby, PA.
I've been through there with bands before. As a professional, it's such a crappy place to play. But I'm
The
trying to think
acoustics
of
are
who else I
great.
saw there because not many metal bands would play there. Yeah, I remember that. We used to go to concerts like every 2 weeks. Rush or
Yeah.
Twisted Sister or Iron Maiden or Priest or
Dio.
Dio. Yeah,
Dio.
And even
So-
local concerts, like local bands and bars.
Yeah.
That was a little bit after high school.
right.
That's all I did.
You remember Tony Destra, Ray?
from Cinderella.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw them the night he died. Was it at the Galaxy or something? I wanna
Probably the
say it was
Galaxy in Jersey.
Yeah. So Don, there was these two band. Well, one band, Cinderella, and then
Yeah,
they got
I'm
signed,
familiar.
and they were. I guess the guitar player used to work at the listening booth at King of Prussia Mall, and he got canned. Michael Smith or Michael Kelly
Smith.
So, oh no, it was Brittany Fox. It was Brittany. He was playing. Tony Destra
He
was with
was
Brittany
yeah.
Fox
He
at that
started
time.
with Cinderella and went to Brittany Fox.
So two of the guys
Cinderella?
got kicked out of
Really?
Cinderella. The two guys got kicked out of Cinderella when they got signed, and then
Yeah.
they were in this band, Brittany Fox, and the dude died. The night I saw Brittany Fox, that's who it was.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, they used to-
Cinderella a Philly band?
Yeah, they used to play
Yeah.
at Ridge Runner,
I didn't
roller
know that.
rink up near me, and Empire Rock Club.
Empire
and
Rock Club
Galaxy.
was my place in Northeast Philly.
What did you guys have in Pittsburgh? Not the Metro. Is it the Metro?
We had the Metropole.
Metropole, yeah.
We had the
played-
Decade.
yeah.
We had Nick's Fat City,
Okay.
where so my brother was dating this girl. We were at a college actually at this time, and he worked for a radio station. It's called WDV. It's the classic rock station in Pittsburgh. It's been here forever. And there's a guy named Joe Grishecki, who's a local legend here in Pittsburgh.
Are there any Irish or Italian people out there, man? I know you guys have those hard to spell names.
Tons of us. We're all ethnic out here, kind of like Philly.
Potato heads.
And so she said to my brother, she goes, "Hey, Springsteen's showing up at this bar tonight to play with Grishecki." And I was literally
That's crazy, man.
5 feet from Springsteen. He didn't play any of his songs. It was all Grishecki songs.
Right.
But
So-
it was like, she gave us the heads up, like, be here tonight.
Wow.
He'll be there. It
I just moved down to Baltimore in 1988. I was 20 years old, summer of 88. And I was working at a place, Baltimore Stage Lighting. It's like 2 weeks into working there, we get a call from Hammerjacks, which Ray might know who.
Oh yeah, I know. I
Hammerjacks is.
played
Yeah.
Hammerjacks.
Yeah. That says we need 3 extra spotlights because Deep Purple's playing a secret concert here tonight.
God.
So usually it'd be some mook would go drive the spotlights down and
Some
they
mook.
unload them. So like the whole shop gets into the van and deliver these spotlights. Like we're going to see the shooting. Yeah. If I have to hold this spotlight up for 3 hours, I'm going to watch this band. And I got to see original Deep Purple there at well, not the original, but the classic lineup at Hammerjack. It was
Blackmore.
amazing. Everybody, John Lord, Ian Pace, Roger Glover, Ian Gillan, the whole shebang. So
Yeah.
Ray, how old were you when you started playing guitar?
1982, I was 15, which is actually a late start.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's fairly late.
Yeah.
why did you pick up the guitar?
My best friend, we went to grade school together in Upper Darby, and we started Monsignor Bonner High School together. And he had started playing at like 8 years old, and absolutely fantastic guitar player. And then, when I was in grade school, I didn't really go out or anything except for to play ball. But when I started high school, all the girls gravitated to my buddy Greg. And I was like, dude, you got to teach me guitar. You got to teach me guitar. So he was my first teacher, and his band, which was called Station Cross, I joined his band, and we played this place on McDade Boulevard in 1984 called the McDade House. And we played in this battle of the bands against one of the bands we played against was the guitar player from Cinderella, the rhythm guitar player, Jeff LaBar.
Jeff LaBar.
And we beat his band that night.
I didn't know he was from our area. I thought
He's from
he was
Upper
one-
Darby. He
I
went to
thought
Upper
he was-
Darby High School.
Okay, I thought he was
Yeah.
like somebody the record company threw in there.
That was the
Not Dylan.
drummer, Fred Corey.
Fred Corey, okay.
Yeah, he was a Chicago guy that was a session musician player because Tony Destra passed away, and
Well, no, he got booted. Him and Michael Kelly got booted, right?
then he
Yeah.
passed away. Yeah,
Yeah,
then
he
they got
passed
some guy named Jim Dernick, and he got booted. And then they just signed this Fred Corey, who was a session guy. But no, Jeff
Okay.
was from Upper Darby,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and he was signed there. So yeah, just started playing in '82, and then went out gigging in '84.
What year was that Battle of the Bands, real quick?
'84.
So, I'm trying to think of the song you would have tried to play at the age.
I could tell you the whole set list. It was
Let
5
me hear
songs.
it. There's got to be a Van Halen tune. In
I was
there.
just gonna say
I
that.
don't know whether it's Pretty Woman or
Pretty
what. The
something.
cover.
Nah, not Pretty Woman.
All right.
These were songs that came out in '84. Metal songs.
Okay. Let me have 'em.
One didn't come out in '84. We started with Live Wire from Motley Crue.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. I mean, listen, if Motley Crue can play it, anybody can play it, right?
Yeah. The big song that summer was "I Want to Rock" from Twisted Sister.
Right.
We got the crowd into "What Do You Want to Do with Your Life?" You know, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Got everybody into it.
Oh, so you were a theatrical rock group? Okay.
Well,
I
my
got
singer
you.
was. I had just started playing. I was playing rhythm guitar. I didn't become lead until years later.
Hold on, we have a big hair alert here. Stand by.
Then we
I see.
played we ended with Aerosmith "Dream On,"
Huh. Interesting.
and we did Holy Diver. Actually, we opened with Holy
I was
Diver,
gonna say that's not how you end. Yeah.
right? And then we went into Live Wire, and "I Want to Rock," and Ozzy's "Believer" from Diary of a
Oh,
Madman.
that's great. So you had a.
Believer.
It sounds like you had a good drummer. If you're
Yeah.
trying to, if
Yeah,
you're playing some of those
the
songs,
guy's
you know what I
name was
mean?
Doug Hiller. He was a great
Okay.
drummer.
Because Believer's not a that's driven by the drums and obviously
And the bass, yeah, it starts
yeah,
with the bass
yeah,
line and everything, and then we ended with "Dream On," which got the girls like in a hissy.
the girls that are on either side of you.
And
right
we
now.
lost to a band in the finals that the lead singer looked just like Vince Neil. He had the platinum white
All right.
long hair.
Oh.
They were all metal looking, and they come out and do "John Waite Missing You."
Okay. And was there a keytar involved?
It was guitar and a synthesizer guy behind them.
So we didn't have
and
a keytar. We
It's
didn't
not
have
girls
even a
went
band.
nuts, man, on
Oh,
John
it's-
Waite Missing. Every time I hear that song, "John Waite Missing You," I think of the finals in '84 that we lost because of that song.
You got to let it go, Ray.
I'm trying to, man, but it's
or you got to
30
get back on that
years now.
horse.
A lot
Talent.
of the chat, sports card show said big hair girls are so damn.
That's Ziggy. Ziggy likes his big hair, man. We all do. Ziggy, so we're all from class of '85, so we're
Oh,
kind of
that's Ziggy?
reminiscing. Yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
Ziggy. He's going to give a skating report tomorrow about 3 dudes talking about Battle of the Bands.
I know
Three metalhead
people here for sports cards, and we're talking
not
about
even
it.
talking baseball cards. We're
I
talking
know.
metal.
That's all right. No one's watching, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's watching. Or
Call John Mancini up. Tell him to get on.
God. He's actually around our age. I think he's a year younger than us.
he looks like he takes better care of himself than I do. That's for sure.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So where did your baseball cards go when you picked up the guitar?
I still had them
Yeah.
during high school.
Yeah, you weren't playing with your baseball card. That wasn't attracting the
I
women.
kind of put them on the shelf for a couple of years towards the end there in high school, and kind of hid them if I had anybody over, if you know what I mean. I didn't want the girls to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, covered them with your leather pants.
I all of a sudden, my Eddie Van Halen posters and Randy Rhoads posters were all over the place instead for the last 2 years.
Rhodes.
Tell me the
84,
craziest
85.
thing you wore on stage. Let me have it.
I can
Just full-
exactly tell you.
Tell me, were you wearing like I picture you in like a
Couldn't wear the
a fishnet-
spandex, dude. Couldn't
No?
wear the spandex. I tried, and I was wearing underwear. And my friend told me, "You can't wear underwear with this." I'm like, "The hell, I'm not wearing underwear, dude. Are you kidding me?" He said, "You can't wear underwear with this." I says, "I ain't going out there balls ass naked." Man. I said, "You gotta be kidding me." I said, "That's how I felt."
When you balls ass naked.
I said, "I'm not going out there with no underwear on under spandex." So I had black skinny jeans,
skinny jeans,
with
Ramones.
all different kinds of bandana, fluorescent pink and blue, and all wrapped around the thighs.
The fishnet tank top, maybe, or no?
No, I had a bullseye shirt. I
Oh,
stole
okay.
the idea from
Flannel.
Rudy Sarzo.
with no sleeves, right?
No sleeves. I had the black and white bullseye shirt that I stole the idea from Rudy Sarzo.
Rudy Sarzo. Yeah. Talk about a guy who was in the right place at the right time, right? Didn't play on either of those 2 albums.
Oh,
I don't even think he played on the Whitesnake album. He didn't play on I don't know if he played on the Quiet Riot album.
he didn't. No,
Guy just shows
It was
up for the
Bob
photo shoot.
Paisley, yeah.
Yeah.
He was just everywhere.
Yeah. He played in every huge band and never recorded any of the songs with them. What a life.
Those were the days, though, man. The '80s, especially like
Ah.
81 to 85, was just phenomenal.
I grew up Ray will probably say the same thing, but Kiss, when I saw Kiss in '77, I was hooked on that stuff. And that's when I knew what I was going to do for a living. I told my mom, right?
That's
Never
straight.
got hooked
That was
on
my
that
first
thing.
band too, and I sold them
Yeah.
in '79.
Yeah.
Never
But I
got-
was still go ahead, Don. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, for some reason, I never got into Kiss.
No,
Like all the
didn't
bands.
get that. You didn't get bit by that bug, huh?
Didn't.
Yeah.
I was able to separate, like even though I love them, I love baseball just as much. So I was,
Yeah.
I was able to do both, and I laughed because we grew up with some really good teams, and maybe we'll get to that in a second. But I get out of high school in '85. I was like, I am an adult. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to go to Phillies games all the time because all I wanted to do is go to any Phillies game I want when I was growing up, and of course, get out of high school, and instead of the great teams of the 70s and early 80s, I get Glenn Wilson and Lance Parrish and Kevin Gross. I'm going to games. I'm like Jeff Stone. Like there's 4,000 people there. It's not like when it's like going back to your old school. It's just not the same. And I was like,
Sounds like Pittsburgh right now.
yeah. So, I mean, what's interesting about us is we grew up with when Ray and I were younger, the Flyers won back-to-back. The Sixers were kind of always good, and then the Phillies got good. The Pirates were great in the 70s.
Steelers were great.
Steelers were great in the 70s. So, it's funny is I guess we went to that around that same time. You probably a little earlier than us. Your teams fell off the cliff there. You know what I mean? In the early to mid 80s,
They did. But even as much as I'm a Penn State fan, back in high school, we had Tony Dorsett, we had Dan Marino on the time.
Yep. Hugh
So we had
Green.
those guys.
Yep.
And in the late 70s, the freaking Phillies beat us every year. It would come down to the line.
Yeah.
Like, good God, we lost to the Phillies again until 79.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but how many?
You
won.
Except for Greg Luzinski. I love the Bull.
The Bull, huh?
I'm like, this guy's awesome.
That's
Did
funny.
they-
You talk about the Phillies and the Pirates. I was talking to John Newman about a week ago.
You're going to
had
be on
Randy.
tomorrow with John Newman, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to be on that tomorrow.
Yeah.
We were talking about Randy Lurch, and Randy Lurch in '78. It was the last game of the season. Phillies were in Pittsburgh for the division, and Randy Lurch, the pitcher, hits 2 home runs.
I remember that
at Three River Stadium.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God.
Schmidt hit his 500th home run there as well.
He did.
Yeah. Remember that?
You can see him running.
That's the most emotion you ever saw out of that man. It was crazy. For growing up watching that guy play, it's like you see him react. He's never.
We basically had the same stadiums.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cookie cutters.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's funny is so you talk about that. I love the Vet. Okay. I'll say that till the day I die. People talk about cookie cutter stadium. Every arena is like that now, right? Every arena back in the old days was unique. Like the one you guys had in Pittsburgh, most of the world doesn't know the Civic.
Yeah.
Most of the world doesn't know how crazy that place really was.
Yep.
Right. So it had a roof that would open in an arena. And it would leave like one slice of the pie open. It was the craziest thing in the world.
Great concerts there.
Yeah. But now all the arenas are the same and all the baseball parks are different. Boston Garden's gone. Spectrum's gone. Did they tear down Civic Arena?
Yeah.
That's a shame. So all those places are gone, and it's, say
what
you want.
I thought Three Rivers sucked.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I love the Vet. I love the Vet.
Yeah. Compared, we just have such a great baseball park right now.
Dude, that's one of my
beautiful
trips.
We have a double-A team playing there, and the team sucks.
I want to go there, man.
Before we got on, Ray, trying to hook up with maybe Ray, or I'm sorry,
Bob.
Actually, Ray, you should come in.
That's one of my trips is to go to PNC Park.
Well, Pujols is coming in twice this fall still.
We'll go out, Ray, and I'll be out there.
On your case to get over here.
Yeah, when he hits $5.99 or $6.99,
$6.99.
just add. I'll be your plus two. Ray and I will be your plus two. You'll get a suite, right?
It just looks so awesome, that Clemente Bridge. I mean, it
is. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous. I've been in there. It's nice. So nice.
I'm not trying to be biased because I would.
That's a great looking place.
But it's like this thing. They did it right. Too bad they put a shit team in there, but.
You sold your soul, man. You got to.
We did so, and we got sold too. Build us a stadium. We'll put a good team in. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a great town. I love.
Well, Baltimore's playing good now. I mean, in the late '60s, early '70s, it was the Pirates and the Orioles. Those two small market teams
right after,
and the A's and Cincinnati. There's 4 small market teams that dominated from like late '60s to early to mid 80s, and then free agency killed everybody. But it's nice to see the Orioles back, and I was saying to my son the other day, I said it's nice to see the Orioles back. Now I'd like to see the Pirates come back, and
I don't
just
see it
these teams.
happening, Ray. I really
Really?
don't. Not with this owner.
Listen to him. Ray sounds like he's in a town where there's a dynasty going down right now. The Phillies are over 500 for the first time in forever, and Ray's talking like he's going to a parade tomorrow, and he wants to see the other teams. He wants to lift up the other teams.
Dude, I ain't counting on nothing over here. The way this team is so unpredictable.
We finally got to 10,000 wins, right? As a franchise.
What's
What's
we
that?
know it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Mike O's got a good thing.
I left a link in there if anybody wants to join us. You're
He
welcome.
said,
to
Ray,
join
we
us.
can swing by a Pirates game on the way to Cleveland. That would be awesome if you guys came by.
The Pirates will be
Mike,
playing in Oklahoma City by then. I don't know.
Dude, we go to that stadium to see, Albert Pujols.
Oh, I thought you said go say Billy Joel and Elton John.
Right.
That stadium, right? Do they do? I'm sure they do concerts there, right?
Oh yeah, Billy Joel was just there like 2 weeks ago.
He plays all the ballparks, the baseball parks. Yeah. It's Phillies get kind of smoked 2 nights in a row. And then what was the final score last night, Ray?
18-2.
They had 20 something hits.
18-2.
All the starters had 2 hits, I think, and then they started pulling people out of the game to rest them.
Yep.
So
2
what's
touchdowns,
Philly's
a field
excuse
goal.
why they're not putting good teams on the field?
What's that, Don?
I said, what is Philly's excuse?
They're probably gonna be in the playoffs. Am I wrong?
I think they're good. Yeah, they have. I mean, the
second wild
Padres
card?
are chasing them right now. This between the Phillies and the Padres. The Phillies, I think they are going to make the playoffs this year
Right.
in the wild card, but I don't know, man. They're just they're losing to teams that that are ahead of them that they're not playing well against, like the Mets or anybody, and they're beating up on the Reds and the Pirates, but just kind of inconsistent, like they just, especially heading into September now, where you really got to put it together. You got to talent wise, the team is good talent wise. I just don't see a lot of hunger in them or a lot of fight.
Well, think about this though. They've gone whatever it was 6 weeks playing decent ball without Bryce Harper, and then now Bryce Harper's back, so maybe, and that he's pretty much the heart and soul of that team. As Uncle Larry was there for a while, but I think now it's Harper, right?
Well, he's the guy that would bring in the fight because they, like I said, they won on. They have a pretty good talented team with Real Muto and Hoskins and Segura. I mean, there's guys.
Well.
Yeah, Baum was finally coming around. So talent wise, I can't really complain, but they just don't have that spark. But Harper is the guy that provides that spark. He's the guy that'll stretch singles into doubles and go from first to third or first to home. I mean, he slides everywhere and dives everywhere. He's perfect for Philly.
The leadoff hitter has 36 home runs.
Does he really?
Yeah. He's batting like 211 or 220.
John, he's got more home runs than singles.
That's what you want from your leadoff guy.
He's got more home runs than singles. That was a week ago. I don't know if that's changed since then. Maybe he has more singles now, but a week ago when he was at 33 or 34 homers, they said he's got more homers than singles.
He put another, it's crazy, man. I think he may have screwed that up last night because I think he had at least 2 hits, and they had 20 hits and no home runs last night, and they're a long ball team, which is crazy.
Rick wants to see me in the outfit. I if I had it here next time, I will bring out some.
His underwear is a little bigger now.
Yeah, a lot bigger now.
You're like Pepino at last year's national. He brought underwear, had everyone sign it. We'll be signing Ray band underwear.
Oh, geez. So, Don, would love to talk about the Pirates, but there's nothing to talk about.
No, there's not.
Were you on?
Hey, let's go back. So let's talk about the 70s a little bit.
Okay.
Like, when did you guys? What year did you start buying baseball cards?
Ray knows his story, right?
Me, 79. I mean, my brother collected before me, so
that's kind of late.
12 years old. Yeah, my
he
brother
picked up the guitar when he was.
I know,
15. Yeah,
still hasn't got laid. So
that's true too.
We saw Ray. I guess he
still wearing underwear.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like my brother collected from like 72 before, way before me. So all of the 70s, there was cards all over the house, but they weren't mine.
Right.
I didn't start buying my own until about 79. But my brother had boxes, shoe boxes, cigar boxes,
Right.
built of 72, 73, 74, 5, 6 tops all over the place. Closets were filled.
Yep. For me, it was 76. And it was purely because I've told this story many times on my channel. I wiped out on my bicycle, the neighbors across the street, and tore up my knee, got like 15 stitches.
Oh, man.
And that woman came over and bought me a cello pack. I didn't even know what baseball cards were. I was 9 years old. And from then I was hooked. So I have a brother a year younger than me. I mentioned my older brothers. And then we had it was different back then. You played with everyone in the neighborhood, boys, girls, didn't matter what age you were. My kids aren't like that at all. So we all had cards. We'd trade. I'd put a D on the back so my brother wouldn't steal my cards. Where now I want him to take those cards and take them. Or like, back then you could see in the cello packs, it was like Hank Aaron. Nope, don't want him. He's not a pirate.
Right.
Let me keep digging. That's what we would do.
I need Ed Ott. Get this Hank Aaron out of here and give me some Ed Ott.
Yeah, give me Dave Justy.
Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't know.
Yeah.
And then a couple guys were a few years younger, so we always ripped those guys off. Like, oh, that's awesome. Trade him.
Where'd you get your cards, Don? When you started going?
Mainly, I don't know if you guys had it. It was called Murphy Smart.
No.
It was like a Kmart or a Target today.
Okay.
And they were a quarter pack. And one of my best memories is too. So my dad was he was a depression type guy, very tight on what he would spend. He would never let us buy cards, even though they were a quarter pack.
Right.
But my mom always had our back.
Yeah.
And so when they'd go away for a weekend or something, she would buy a couple packs and sneak it into our suitcase. And like my aunts and uncles would watch us for the weekend and would open up our suitcase and there were a couple packs. It was always for my mom.
That's great, man.
That's
what did you keep them in, Don? Like, did you keep them in shoe boxes?
Oh yeah, they were.
See, I kept them in cigar boxes.
We used to play games. Would wad up a little ball and pretend like they're all trashed.
Yeah.
We used to pitch them and flip them, right?
I'm gonna save these cards. They're gonna be worth something. I didn't know they had to be in good condition.
No, nobody did.
No,
back then.
But I love those cards. I still have some of them. And I've shown them a few videos. I'm like, here's the rare one with the D on the back.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd love to start a website where people can post cards that they found with initials on the back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then people can scan and look, oh my God, that, you know what I mean? I used to, like, you put them in alphabetical order so you can go to the D's. And then there's 100 cards on there and see if any of the ones look like what you used to mark it up.
Same with the checklist cards. I filled out every little box.
I destroyed my checklist cards.
Yeah.
I wrote all over the checklist cards.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, in fact, I have a bunch of them over there. That was the last thing I finished.
I'm surprised there's clean checklists out there.
Yeah, I mean, these are all the ones, the 79s. I got all these at these are my ones from childhood, right?
Right.
That I marked up, and and I put an X on the back because I'm done with that card. So there's an X up there somewhere, and I was pretty proud of myself when I finished the set. Get a big old X on there, and now that's what I was finishing up at the National. I had to pick up more. Pick up the team cards because Mark boogered up all the team cards, but now I can't throw these away. Right. I've had these since 1979. What am I going to do with them? Right. So now they're in my office and I move them every 2 hours somewhere.
Look, guys, as much as I like nice old cards as anyone else, there's a story behind those cards.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool to me.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's like, this is what these cards were meant to be. This is what we did with them. And it's kind of cool that, I don't know.
It looks like a baseball card. When I see a vintage card that's an 8 or a 9, it's great and everything. And they look absolutely beautiful. But I don't know, something about a card that was handled. It was, to me, I always said, now that card was loved. Like that was That
I
was
mean, I don't
handled.
go out looking for love cards, but if I know the story behind it,
Right.
or
Right.
if it has something to do with me, then it's like, okay.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I've had this 70 Ted Williams since I didn't buy it in 70 because I wasn't that forward thinking. I was only 2 years old, for crying out loud. But it's been with me probably 46 years, 45 years or something like that. And it's not going to go anywhere. I got a great one in the binder back there, but this one, what am I going to do with that? I can't throw it away.
Speaking of
Oh.
loved, I got something in the mail the other day from this guy that he was either dumpster diving or was cleaning out his closet. He sent me this bobblehead. Where can I find it? It's beat up here. I'm having a hard time showing, but the ankles are all cracked. It's basically a piece of shit,
It's broken in, man.
but I love it because it's for my boy John Keating.
That thing made its way across what
When I
76
saw it,
West.
I'm like, this is so John Keating.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
this thing has been glued together. It's freaking awesome. I'm busting
Well,
your balls,
I
obviously,
can't.
but
I can't.
so cool.
I didn't have room because I have like 5 Donovan McNabb
Donovan
bobbleheads,
McNabb.
so I didn't have room for it here. And
So you sent me this thing.
people you hated in recent years. Andy Reid. I don't know.
Here you
why I
go,
still have
John.
him.
Here's my vet stadium of Jim Thome.
Jim told me. Unreal. That poor guy.
Look at that awful stadium.
That's a gorgeous stadium. I have my seat back there.
Oh, it's
Jim
not.
Thome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ray, do you like the old Veterans Stadium?
Nah.
Okay, good.
No.
So John's full of shit.
Got my
No.
vet seat right here from the last game. The last Eagles game.
Actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean it's
I know my
it's
first game at the
plastic.
vet,
It's okay. It's plastic like the grass was.
just like the grass.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like the grass.
I smuggled that. That was from the Eagles Buccaneers championship game. Last Eagles game at the vet.
John, do you remember them having? You might not. Bat Day.
Oh
At the
yeah,
vet?
for sure. Yeah.
My first game was a Bat Day,
Whose idea was that, man?
1974.
Was it the big bats or the mini ones?
It was the big ones. It wasn't the little ones like this. It was a big bat. Oh my God. My father took me and my brother. It was 74. It was Atlanta Braves. We were going. It was after Hank Aaron passed Babe Ruth.
Okay.
So, Hank Aaron was like all over the place. So he gets his tickets to the Phillies versus Atlanta Braves. I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday. And it was Bat Day. So now you're only allowed to get one bat per, I don't know, and you remember the vet where it's got ramps to walk
Yeah.
up and around.
Yeah.
So my father sees the pile of bats up against the wall. I don't know how many he took.
Oh,
right?
you're
And I
kidding
was
me.
I was 7 years old, right?
Oh man.
And you hear the guy say, "Hey, stop! Where are you going?" And we're holding. My mom's like, "Come on!" I'm like, "What's going on? Why?
Did he make you run up or make you run down?
He made.
Running up to that 700 level was no.
I don't know
joke,
where
man.
I was going. I was like,
Yeah.
"Where am I going?" And these were huge bats. And I think the signature I had on there was Terry Harmon.
Terry Harmon, of course. You gotta have Terry Harmon, right? Or Tony Taylor, or somebody like that.
I think it was Terry Harmon. I was like, "Oh man, come on! I don't have
So you
Oh,
use
well.
that bat though. It's not like that
Oh, I
bat these
destroyed it.
days. That bat these days would immediately.
Oh, so they were real
Be-
bats?
Yeah, they were real
bats.
bats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had the small ones replicas like a couple years later
Yeah.
because people would get in the fights with the.
But the little ones were more dangerous than the big ones.
Oh,
in
my
my
God.
opinion. Like you could pop a hole
You
in
could
somebody's
pop
head
somebody,
with-
yeah.
with one of those things, man.
But
Yeah.
they did away with the big bats like real quick.
Oh, I'm
Well,
sure.
I'm sure it had something to do with expensive, the expense, right? Couldn't have
Oh,
been cheap. There's a guy, the guy where I got the bobblehead was coming out of a room the other day with a windbreaker giveaway from the Phillies, right? From the 70s, big fat P, but it was bright red. And it's like, that's not what there was never bright red with the fat P. It was always that maroon. So
Right.
it just, they didn't care what the products looked like, the giveaway products back then at all.
Right.
So Don, how come you don't talk about the Steelers that much?
I like the Steelers a lot. They're just not. They're number 3 for me.
Behind the
The Nittany Lions.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the Pisces,
The Pisces,
Pittsburgh Pisces.
and then the Pirates. But it's so hard being a Pirates fan. Like, you know, um,
Do you have the Penn State? Do you have Penn State cards?
I
Yeah,
do.
well,
I have a whole
yeah.
book of them.
All right, because I have a bunch too.
Here.
I sure as hell don't want them. I didn't know it.
Right here, baby.
Oh, that's nice. Who is the who in your time? And I'm not talking about Franco Harris, but in your adult life, so 18 and above, who is the best Penn State player
When I was I
From-
was there,
from
Or-
1985 on? No, I'm just saying from 1985 on, who's the best Penn State?
Me,
player?
either Kijana Carter
Kurt Warner.
or Saquon Barkley.
Think so? You wouldn't
As far
go.
as-
You wouldn't say Arrington.
from
You wouldn't say LeVar Arrington was the
Well,
most.
he's up there too.
You know what I mean?
He was the next one I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think they're the three best
I got it.
college players.
Courtney Brown's
These
pretty good
guys
too.
just don't translate to the pros for some reason.
Yeah, they had a bad. What is it? It was Kijana,
It was Kijana, Curtis Enos,
Curtis Enos.
Blair Thomas.
Who was the one? Was Barkley wasn't the one who played lacrosse too? Was he? There was one before
Oh, that was
Barkley.
Evan Royster.
Evan Royster. I got you. Yeah, these guys. Who's wide receiver? I guess it would be Allen Robinson, right?
Yeah, Bobby Ingram.
Bobby
right
Ingram.
now, Jahan Dotson. I mean, he's a rookie, so we'll see.
Scott Fitzky.
Scott Fitzky. Was he a Philadelphia Star? Was Fitzky
Yeah.
on the Stars?
Yeah,
Okay.
Greg Garrity too,
Yeah,
right?
Greg Garrity. Holy crap! Wow, the Stars games were crazy. Right? Did you ever go to a Philly Stars game?
No, but I never missed a game the first year
Yeah.
on TV. I
Great
loved
day.
it.
Now the
Dude, I was
Stars,
in
the Stars.
college.
You thought Eagles games were bad. The Stars was like straight up.
You had
jail-
Chuck Vicina,
jailhouse.
didn't you?
Chuck Facina,
Yeah.
Kelvin Bryant, Sean
Yeah.
Landetta was the punter.
Sam
Right.
Mills.
Irv Eatman.
You guys had some good players.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some good players on that team.
We had Mike Rozier for the Maulers.
Who else was on the Maulers? Anybody else?
No one.
Huh? That's
No
it.
one.
That's it.
Really?
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Those are our best players. We had Sam Clancy. He was a basketball player.
Okay.
but
So Kelly didn't play there. He played for Memphis, or did he play for Houston?
No,
Houston
it was one-
Gamblers.
Houston.
Gamblers? Okay. Yeah, that was a fun time. Like, people this generation are aware of the XFL or whatever, thought the XFL was neat, but man, the USFL went head to head.
I honestly
Herschel Walker,
felt that
right?
they could have made it if they
Yeah.
hadn't have gone. to
Yeah,
the-
Reggie White,
Yeah.
Steve Young, Jim
Herschel
Kelly.
Walker.
So many Hall of Famers played in that
Yeah.
league right out of college. It was crazy.
Yeah.
700 level did rock, Andrew, for sure. Our tickets were in 717, our Eagles season tickets, and we were second to last row. And some of the stuff that happened up there was stone cold crazy, man. We got into a fight with the skybox above us, right? So how does that happen? They're up there in the skybox. Well, what happened was a beer spilled over from the skybox. So everybody in the section immediately threw everything they had in their hands back up to the skybox, and stuff was coming down, stuff was going up. It was crazy. So the only people that got tossed was a security guard, because the security guard started fighting with one of the people 2 rows in front, and they ended up taking the security guard out in handcuffs. It was great. Oh, good times.
We got Alex Bowman 53 on here. He's a Philly guy.
Tell him to get on here. We got the link. Mike O was there too. I posted the link. I'll do it again.
Come on, Alex.
I'll be
He's been AWOL for like 6 months.
What were the Pittsburgh Pipers?
ABA basketball team.
Oh, were they?
Yep.
Oh, the Pisces were the fictional one, right?
Right.
That was
The
Dr.
Pipers and the
J's team.
Condors.
Dr. J.
And Connie
J.
Hawkins played on that team.
Who did?
Connie Hawkins.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
The Hawk.
I mean,
how
I was
many-
like 3. I can't say I remember it,
Pittsburgh
but I know the history of it.
Would you collect their cards though? Because that's kind of a cool thing.
I don't
mean-
have any, but I would.
Ray and I go after Philadelphia A's cards. I don't see why you wouldn't go after Pipers cards,
Man, I wish we had an NBA team. I rooted for the Sixers as a kid because I'm like, well, they're in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have a team. Where my son's a huge Cavaliers fan.
Okay.
So I kind of root for them just because of him.
Right.
And took him up there a few years ago as a Christmas gift. And when LeBron left, I said, oh, you're a Lakers fan now, right? It's like, why would I be a Lakers fan? I can't believe it. Like I thought he liked him because of LeBron,
Right.
Right.
and I thought that was
Right.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're a diehard, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember them.
Too bad because they suck like the Pirates. But welcome to my life, buddy.
Yeah. Right. Right. It's the family curse.
Yeah.
Hands down. So would you trade the Penguins for an NBA team?
In a heartbeat.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
man.
All the
Good for
cups you
you.
guys have.
Because I'm not a huge like.
Uh,
See, I'm freaking weird. Like, I can miss a Steelers game and go do something on a Sunday, but I can't miss a Penn State game. Like, it's
Right.
almost killing me to be talking to you guys while it's on right here. But
are they at State College?
no, it's at Lafayette. They're losing
Lafayette,
3
okay.
right now.
No whiteout tonight.
No. Because I don't understand hockey. I didn't play it.
The names, right? There's
You know, I mean, I love Lemieux. I love Crosby. I love Rick Keogh back in the day. And,
Yager.
guys, and I watch them, but I played basketball, and
Right.
if we had an NBA team, I'd be all, and I think a lot of it has to do with my son loves it,
Yeah.
so I could go do it with him.
remember Jerome
Hockey's
Lane.
tough in America. It's always been number 4.
You're in a hotbed though, Ray. Delco is a hotbed of hockey.
big time.
Delco, South Jersey, and Northeast Philly. Other than that,
This
it's,
area, let me tell you, when the Flyers won the Stanley Cup in '74, I was 7 years old, and it was the first time I seen so many naked people running around the Broad Street in my life.
until the Battle of the Bands in 1984.
Until the Battle of the Bands in '84, but there was 74.
Big
You gotta
fun,
remember, was big year for streaking, man. Everybody
It
was
was.
streaking.
I remember
I'm sitting
getting
in my mother and father's car. We're going to my sister's house, and we're trying to cross Broad Street. I must have seen 100 naked people running up and down Broad Street.
I remember driving in the city. We must have moved out the year before, and it was crazy. It looked like Beirut. People were out on the street with bonfires and banging pots and pans and stuff like that. It was nuts.
Yeah,
Absolutely
this is
nuts.
a big area for hockey. My family was the first family to have cable TV
Prism.
in 76 or 77. So we had, Prism.
Right.
You must
So
have been
every
rich.
year, the 76, 77, 78, our house at the springtime, when the Flyers were in the playoffs, packed. Everybody came to our house to watch Flyers, Bruins, semifinals.
How many of your friends came over to watch Softcore at 11 p.m. on Friday night?
Yeah, that was
All of
quite a
them.
bit. Yeah,
They said they were there for the hockey. I
They
think
were-
they were staying for the
the scrambled lines on Prism late at night. Yeah. Oh, believe me, I was right there with them.
we didn't have any of that.
We
man.
had a Scarface party at my house one night when Scarface came on, and like I said, I was the only one who had Prism that had. It was like the HBO
Curse
before
words,
HBO.
Yeah, you can
know,
have curse
and when-
words on TV.
Oh my god, it was huge. I was like a celebrity, man. Everybody was
Dude,
at my
you
house.
had cable in 1976.
It's crazy, isn't it?
We still had black and white TV in 1976. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
I did in my bedroom.
and
yeah,
pliers.
Yeah.
To change
Holy
the channels.
crap.
Yeah, we did. We were not early adopters. I never had cable in my childhood home. Got
Nope.
a
No,
VCR
Eric,
like when we were 18.
They got all that when I moved out.
Got Asteroids though when I was about 14, which was great.
they're
The
painful.
Atari.
Oh, the
Got a 14. I didn't sit down.
you
till I
left
was
yourself
16.
wide open for that, John.
They beat me to it. I was thinking,
Asteroids.
Me and Don think alike. See,
Great
that? We're like,
You got cable. I got Asteroids. Oh.
they're no joke, man.
George Brett can tell you.
Oh man,
come
George
on, Alex.
Brett got
what are you
knocked
doing,
out by
man?
Dickie
Listen up.
Knowles.
Dickie Knowles put him on his hiney, right there.
Yeah, that was-
I tell you what, I did love. I remember watching the Pine Tar game, and it was because I think it was like a Saturday or a Sunday, and I think it was a nationally broadcast game because
oh, yeah,
you wouldn't have seen it the way you see it now every 5 minutes or on your phone or on ESPN,
Right.
But it's an indelible memory. I remember watching that game and thinking, "What's going on?" And Billy Martin was an SOB, man, but he knew all the tricks, didn't he? Knew all the tricks, man.
one of my favorite managers
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah, he
Unreal,
was a
man.
total asshole, but he was a great manager.
Great
Yeah.
manager.
I just read a book on Ricky Henderson,
Uh-huh.
and he loved Ricky.
Wow.
Some of the shit he would do to Winfield and some of these other
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. He
The
turned
mind
screws.
games, he screwed. He played
And Reggie, you know, you got to watch out for our boy Reggie. Him and
Yeah.
Reggie didn't quite get along very
He
well.
would get inside these players' heads big time.
Yeah,
Rod
if he
Carew
didn't like
loved him.
you, you were screwed.
yeah.
But if he liked you, he would do anything for you.
Rod Carew loved him when he was with the Twins.
Oh yeah.
Rod Carew was a big fan of Billy Martin.
That's how
Wow.
Ricky felt. Ricky was like he was the greatest manager I ever played for.
I'm telling you, he was always like the first. You know, he's a student of Casey Stengel, so he played under Casey Stengel,
Right.
and he was he was the first guys that you would see in the playoffs bring in a starter from the bullpen. So he would only use like 3 starters for the playoffs, and your 4 and 5 he was using as bullpen, like Sparky Lyle coming in out of the bullpen, who was a starter, you know, or Dick Tidrow, and people,
Dick Tidrow,
you know, like
yeah.
you know,
Figueroa.
he'd have his starters go 7 innings, and then you're bringing in another starter for the 8th and the 9th. Shut those guys down. It was before he had Gossage. You know,
I just interviewed Jay Daniel about the 80s season. He wrote a book called Finally, right? Which is around here somewhere. Probably
which
on
I
my
have
book
to
thing.
buy.
And he was telling me about he was saying about Rick Langford pitched like 23 consecutive complete games. Because Billy just put him out there, man. Just keep
The
going.
80s,
Billy
right?
Ball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Billy Ball.
Yeah, he didn't have any relief pitchers, so he made these guys, and then he said the A's last complete game of the season was pitched by the closer. The closer started a game.
Really?
Went 9 innings, complete game. Yeah, it's freaking nuts, man.
By the
That's
time they
good.
got to the playoffs, that team, they were burnt
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Billy
can't do
Martin.
that stuff anymore, man. These players are like, you know, the
No.
players, their agents, their managers, their everything, their PR people. That's what runs the game now.
I mean,
But
what a
back then,
shame
man,
it is that we're not going to see another 300 game winner or
Yep.
3,000 strikeouts. Like,
Yep.
what a shame that is.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
It really is. It's like, you know, each generation, you got guys from that decade or generation that hit that mark, and now we're not going to hit it.
It's not even Don. You might not even see a 200 game winner. The last 200 game winners are most likely pitching right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Scherzer and
Verlander.
Verlander, and yeah, you know what I mean. Like you might not see that. What was the last year? What was who had the most wins? Did anybody get the 20 wins?
I don't think so. 20's like what?
Yeah.
Remember,
yeah.
guys, when we grew up, we would have 6, 7, or 8 players.
Yeah, and they were
Pitchers
hitting
have 20
27,
wins.
28.
Deep into the 20s. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Gidry. What did Gidry do that year?
25 and 3 or something.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
crazy or what, man?
70.
Yeah, I know it's a different game, but it's you know,
Stolen bases.
stolen. Omar Moreno. When are
Gone.
we going to see another Omar Moreno? Right.
Well, I think I saw a stat on MLB Network that this year, and this was a week ago, again, that might have changed. There was only 12 players in all of Major League Baseball that were hitting 300.
Wow.
That's it, 12.
It isn't Kyle Schwarber. He's not one of them. That's for
No.
sure. Yeah, and it's not Wander Franco either. Everybody, I know
No.
it surprises you guys. Everybody who thinks Wander's
12
batting
guys.
400.
So I did research and just checked every year in Baseball Reference, and on average, it was double that each year. It was like 24, 25, some years 30. You know,
well,
to hit
except
300.
for like the latter part of the pitching era, right? Where I think
Right.
Mark Hoyle, Mark Hoyle can tell you without looking up what Yaz led the league batting. It might have been 301 or something.
68. He like barely, and they changed the rules when they lowered the mound. That was the year of the pitcher.
Yeah,
68.
Gibson, right?
Yeah.
Bob Gibson. You had Marichal,
Kenny
Right.
McLean.
McLean, Mickey Lolich, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver.
Yeah.
And after that year, they lowered the mound, and then you saw the averages go. That's why I think next year, when you see the rule changes for the shift, you're going to see averages go up.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think about the shift? You think you're glad that it's going to be gone next year, or I think I'm thrilled that it's going to be gone next year.
I will sleep just as good next year as I'm sleeping now.
I agree.
Over it.
I'm kind of
right.
like.
Hold on a
you're-
second, Don. You look like the drum. You look like the drummer from Def Leppard right now. The way.
Oh
you're
yeah,
sitting. You look like you're missing your left arm.
One arm.
Yeah, you just had this pointy thing up. And sorry, we were talking about something.
Only the guys from the
Earth-
80s get
Yeah,
that.
Back
there's
to
no
the life
way
of
Tom on here
yeah, the
knows
important
what the hell
stuff.
we're talking about.
No,
Uh,
I think it's really going to make a big difference because I went to a Phillies game back in June, and the third baseman Alec Bohm was playing in right field.
Yeah.
So it was like watching a softball game. You know, in softball you play four outfielders. You know,
Right.
you have a left fielder, center
Yep,
fielder, right
yep.
fielder, and then the short fielder.
Right.
So right now you're seeing a lot of teams where they'll have a fourth that they'll put the third baseman all the way in right field. The shortstop, you got shortstop is over at second base side, second base is over on the grass. The third baseman's in between right and center. There's nowhere to hit. So people are like, well, hitters just need to learn how to hit. They need to learn how to be better hitters. Well, that's not really true. I mean, you look at the NBA, they changed the rules with the 3-second rule because players were just sitting there planning themselves on defense all day long. So they changed that
Right.
to add more scoring. So in football, they've done the same thing. You know, secondary guys couldn't. They have to give wide receivers 5 yards distance. You know, the offensive lineman ineligible downfield receiver can't do that. So there's a lot of rules that have changed to try and make it more fun, more fair, and a little bit more offensive. So I think the shift being gone next year, you're going to see more players. You know, maybe Schwarber won't hit 210 this year; he'll hit 220. You know,
That's great. Get his on base percentage above 300. That'd be awesome for your leadoff hitter. But you know what?
Penn State just scored. Sorry.
Nice.
Did they?
Yeah.
Let me
We
know.
are.
Let me know
I
when
mean-
the band comes on at halftime. All right.
I get you, Ray, with that, and I get that maybe Ted Williams or Musio or Tony Gwynn or Carew could hit the other way and avoid that. I'm not throwing down a bunt once in a while. I know
Harper's-
it's not sexy,
Harper does that. Harper
but
will
holy
throw down the
crap,
bunt.
you got the whole thing open. Just get on base.
What did
Right.
they used to call that? Keep them honest.
Yeah.
That's part. That's part of the game, right? Just the same as a brushback pitch, keeping people honest.
And that's why you see a lot of homers today because they know there's nowhere in the field to hit it, so they got to hit it.
Yeah,
over.
come on, no. But Don's right. Tony Gwynn could put the ball anywhere he wanted. Boggs could put that ball anywhere.
And that just goes to
wanted.
show you that there's not a lot of contact hitters today. There's
Right.
just not.
No, you're right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, that goes to the 300 average thing too. How many people,
Yeah.
like you said, are batting 300? There's a
12.
reason for that. Yeah.
I mean, you would have seen 400 hitters by the handful back then if
Yeah.
the shift was on.
Yeah.
I mean, Carew and Boggs and
Yeah.
They
Ted
would
Williams.
hate
They
that up.
didn't. They shifted Ted Williams though.
Yeah,
They
he
used
was
to
the
shift
first
Ted
one.
Williams. Yeah.
And he hit the other way, and
He
then
hit
they
the
just
other way.
went back.
There's
They went back.
a
to
guy
playing.
with a career nearly 500 career on base percentage, and you're going to put the shift on this guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I wonder who's the genius that started that. I wonder.
probably
I
worked for the
think-
Pirates.
I think it was
Yeah.
Lou Boudreaux who might have put
Boudreaux
the
for the
shift on.
Indians.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
I think he put the
Crazy.
shift on Ted and had just like you see today. You'll see the third baseman, second baseman, all the way over.
So the shift is you have to have two infielders on each side of the bag.
Yeah,
That's
you know, in the right side you only can have two, and the other side two, and they can't. And I don't think they can be on the grass.
Well, that's weird, right? Because everybody, I guess nobody has cutouts anymore for bases, right? They're even
Right.
even the teams with AstroTurf, which I guess is Tampa and maybe does Toronto have turf? I guess they still have they have the full dirt infield now with AstroTurf. Is that what's going
I
on?
think so.
I miss the cutouts, man. And the seams and all that stuff.
The football seems.
Football seems. What are they gonna do? An imaginary line from home plate to second base to the outfield? Are they gonna?
I think a shortstop just can't play over past second base. Like he can play as close to the middle as he can, but I don't.
because I
think
can
he
see,
can
I could see if Larry Boa would have at least a foot over onto the if he were to be on a shift, he'd have a foot over onto the first base side of second base, right?
Easily.
So
easily.
they'll have to enforce that. Oh, wow, you got Boudreaux correct. Mark Coyle. If it involves the Red Sox, Mark knows the answer. So this Staven said Greinke. Yeah, there's guys now that will eclipse the milestones that we talked about, but they're going to be the last of the generation, I think, or the last of the Mohicans, I guess.
I don't think the 3,000 strikeout club will go down because guys are striking out more now.
That's a
So I
good
think
point.
that's a good point there.
You're going to see the 3,000 strikeout not dissipate at all, but the 300 wins are gone.
Yeah, but if somebody's pitching 6 innings now on a good day, as opposed to 9 innings, you have only 2/3 of an opportunity to do as well as the best
Right.
guys did. To
Pitching
get
less
to that
innings.
point, to get to that
True.
point, you're only working on 66% of the opportunity there. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, this is Andrew. That ain't ever happening again, man. You're never going to see 4 20-game winners on one team.
Can't even see
the-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Can't even see one.
I
Yeah.
watched a documentary the other night called Facing Nolan. It's the Nolan Ryan new documentary. And man, I mean, he's pitching 300 innings multiple times.
Yeah.
300 strikeouts 6 or 7 times. It's just insane.
I'll have to look that up, man. Give me a second. Let me look that
You
up.
guys know what the 51st anniversary is today?
The 71 Pirates having the first
yeah.
all African American team that year.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't even know. They guys were. I've seen that documentary on that too. They're like,
Yeah.
they're all standing around looking at each other like, man. I think Al Oliver was one who said,
Where are all the white people? Where are all the white people at?
we got all brothers out there, man.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
like, you're right, we do.
And you
There's
know what's
only
great?
3 still alive, and I can't
Oh.
figure out who the third is. Oliver
Rennie?
still alive, Manny
Rennie-
Sanguin, and I can't figure out who the
Don,
third
can you name the 9 players? I can't. I can name 6.
pitchers.
maybe.
Doc Ellis,
Doc Ellis.
catchers Manny Sanguin.
All right.
Third base is Dave Cash.
Okay.
First base is Al Oliver. Second base is Rennie Stennett.
Wow.
Shortstop is Hernandez. Can't think of his first name. Right field's Clemente. Center field's Gene Kleins. And left field's Willie Stargell.
Gene Kleins is where I would have messed up.
Jackie Hernandez is the one I'm missing when I said Hernandez. But I can't
Yeah,
figure
I
out
keep
who the
forgetting.
third one is that's still alive.
It was a 71, you say, right?
Yeah.
Well, Cash is still alive.
Cash is still alive.
Okay, Cash is the third one then.
Cash,
It's Cash,
Sanguin,
Oliver,
and Oliver. Yeah.
Stennett's not alive?
Nope, he died last year.
Oh wow, that I didn't know.
Yeah, May 18th.
Don,
And
I think
Hernandez-
Al Oliver should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Look at it.
I do.
See if we can bring
I
up Al's
really
stuff
wish
here.
he had never left the Pirates too.
He's got very, very close to 3,000 hits. And he's got a 300 career batting average.
It's him and Parker, man.
Yeah, and Parker.
I'll take
Parker's
Parker
getting
in there first.
Oh, absolutely.
Agreed.
I was a huge Dave Parker fan.
You know what? If Jim Rice wasn't in the Hall of Fame, I
There
might
you go.
say okay on Parker. But they're
Yeah.
basically the same players,
Yeah.
stat wise, anyways.
Yeah.
What did Dave Parker used to say, Don, every year? That saying he used to do about the leaves.
What was that?
He used to say when the leaves turn brown.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, he used to say when the leaves turn brown, I'll be wearing the batting crown.
Really?
There you go.
How do I not know that? That's cool. I mean, you look at talent, like, Parker didn't have the stats, but you look at the eye test, it was like, what a stud.
He had that arm, man.
That cannon
That
arm.
I mean, he was a
Yeah.
great football player.
Yeah.
Cincinnati,
Was he a
but
tight end or what was his deal?
He got
He was a
hurt. He busted
running
up his
back.
knee or something.
He was a running. He's a big guy to be a running
Yeah.
back, man. Wow.
He hurt his knee.
busted
It
up
popped
his knee in high school, and
Yeah.
I mean, like Ohio State, all those guys were looking at him.
And back then, remember that they couldn't fix knees the way they fix
Right.
knees,
Yeah.
right? It's like, your knees, we gotta let your knee heal. And
But talk about a 5-tool player. I mean, he could hit for average. He could hit for power. He had speed. He could definitely field. His arm was the best I've ever seen.
His fielding might have been his worst out of the 5.
Probably.
and he smoked cigarettes in the dugout. So he's a 6-tool
That's a
player,
little
I
coke.
think. Yeah. Well,
Snorted a little coke. and then
there's
he
never
was-
no such thing as a little coke. Either you're in or you're
That
out.
throw in the All-Star game when he threw
79
out
all
Brian
game.
Downing
Yeah.
to Gary Carter. Oh my god!
Yeah.
He
I
picked
remember
two
watching
guys.
it live as a kid.
Did he get 2 guys out?
He threw someone out at third.
Okay.
I can't.
That's
remember
one
who
of the all-time highlights of the 70s right there and the All-Star game.
That was
I
the
never
thing,
forget
guys.
that.
I remember being out in my front yard playing catch with my brother and stuff, and waiting for the All-Star game to come on. Like
was
that
huge.
was the biggest thing. It was like it's going to be on in an hour. We got another hour to play catch,
Right.
and then all of a sudden I heard Joe Garagiola or whoever was doing the game,
Yeah.
Vince Scully, and it was like we ran in. It was like the All-Star game's on.
It was
'Cause there were a lot
huge.
of Pirates in it.
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
huge.
back
And that's
then.
because we didn't see the American League teams,
Right.
you know,
You're
So-
right. We didn't see those players.
except for Saturday afternoon with Ted, with Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek,
Game of the week.
the
Yeah.
game of the week. That was it. But
And
I-
Mel Allen, we saw Mel Allen introduced us a lot to that stuff. With
I
this
mean,
week
the
in
whole
baseball.
highlight of the All-Star game was the introduction.
Yeah.
You know,
Along
you
the
wanted
lines.
to see the other uniforms.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no threat of interleague play. And you asked me earlier about the Red Sox, Don. Like, there was never any threat of the Red Sox and Phillies ever playing a baseball game against each other. So
Right.
I didn't have to worry about my allegiance there. That's for sure.
Someone made a good comment. It's a shame Dave Parker's not in already. I'm worried with the new Veterans Committee being condensed. I made a video on that where they changed the Veterans Committee now, where they had different whole bunch of different errors. They had like 3 or 4 different committees. Now it's just condensed now to 2. I think it's classic and modern. So now Parker's gone up against a lot more players that, like, I think he might be going up against Dick Allen now and Garvey. He was already going up against Garvey.
We're Dick Allen, huh?
He wasn't going up against Dick Allen before, but now I think he's got a lot more competition, which sucks.
Dude, I thought Dick Allen was a lock. After
So
watching
did I.
the videos. I
We all did.
bought some of his
Yeah.
cards for my Hall of Fame collection. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And it's a shame because I don't think Parker's doing that well right now.
No, he's
No,
And it's like, why do we have to wait for these guys to die or be near death for them to, like Tony Oliva is been through the ringer.
but at least he was alive for it.
at
Ron
least he's
Santos-
alive. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's
Like, do you guys ever go on YouTube and watch the Hall of Fame speeches?
yeah.
It's awesome watching these guys. You can go
Yeah.
back to Luke Appling, to Musial, to Ricky Henderson. And then I'm watching Ron Santos' wife. And I'm like, man, this
Yeah.
guy, like, couldn't you put him in 2 years ago?
yeah.
Like,
Or I mean, Buck O'Neill's a perfect example of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
This year we had Gil Hodges' daughter.
Yeah.
yeah. Although he died in 72. Man.
Died a long time
He
ago.
died a
Yeah.
lot. Minnie Minosa.
Yeah. There's no, I mean, why his Minnie Minosa's criteria didn't change between now and 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he didn't get more hits.
None of them
Nobody gotten less hits and he's moved up. Like, it's just a shame, let 20 people in a year if it makes sense. If Lou Whitaker should be in there, if Alan Trammell's in there, I don't know why Lou Whitaker's not in there.
I agree.
Like, why? Like, let them all in. Don't hold it to like 2 or 3 guys. If 20 guys deserve to get in now,
Mhm.
let them in. I know, and I'm not talking about the other part.
Famer.
What's that?
I'm a small guy Hall of Famer. I
I'm
don't
not.
think a lot of these guys should be in the Hall of Fame, but it is what it is. If these
Mhm.
guys are in, then you have to let these other
The
guys.
genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah,
Frankie Fritch or whoever screwed all that stuff
Trammell's
up
in,
years ago.
Whitaker should be in. If Rice
Yeah.
is in, Parker should be in.
If Jim Bottomley's in, I should be in. That's what I
Yeah.
say too, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
If Jim Bunning's in, Ray from Philly should be in.
with Jim Bunning
I thought I was
pitched
in
a
it
no
right.
hitter on Father's Day, so you should
I
be in.
know. I'm just thinking of a Philly guy.
This
That's
book
not
right
right.
here is what I read last year, and you just mentioned Frankie Frisch,
Yeah,
and there was cronyism definitely going
Yeah.
on with
the
Frankie
Cardinals,
Frisch
yeah.
and the guy from the Giants. Frisch was from the Cardinals, and there was a guy from the Giants, former player. I can't remember his name now. And they were picking all their old teammates and
Yeah.
former
Yeah.
players
Oh, yeah,
that
they
played
have
for
to-
them and with them. It was
Yeah.
total cronyism.
Yeah, I think that's where the Jim Bottomley thing is. Maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's people on that team like
Bill
everybody.
Terry was the Giants guy. That's right. Bill
Yeah,
Terry.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of that going on.
Yeah, and it just didn't need to be that way. You
Right.
know? What do you think? Have we discussed the whole steroids thing? I mean, I think here's my opinion. I'll get it out of the way real quick. It's a bookend thing, right? Everybody was hopped up on something in the 70s and the 60s. Okay. The 10s and 20s and all that stuff, everybody was gambling on baseball games. Hornsby was a gambler. Trish Speaker was a gambler. All these guys were gamblers.
all
right?
racist.
They were all racist, right? We know that. And I I cringe when I hear the name Cap Anson. I know he's a legendary
Yep.
guy, and
No, I
I
agree
still
with you.
cringe because I think that guy set the game back more than anybody, any single
Absolutely
person
agree.
in the history of this of the sport. So I still
Right.
cringe when I hear his name. And conversely, you're going to see 20 years from now, every kid's going to come up with they've already had Tommy John surgery. Okay, they've gotten that done as an elective surgery
Right.
prior to getting out of middle school, maybe, and they're going to have a piece of carbon fiber, something, keeping their ligament to their bone or whatever it is. So it's like I there's performance enhancing everything out there. It was in the past. It's going to be in the future as well, I think. What do you guys think about all those guys from the 90s and stuff
What
like
about
that?
growing up with aluminum bats? You know,
Yeah, that's a safety thing, though, is it not?
even though you didn't. No, I'm not saying you should have that in the pros, but I'm just saying
All these kids,
gives
like
you an
carbon
early
fiber
edge.
bars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did in the minor leagues up until very recently,
Yeah.
right?
Do I
Yeah.
think Bonds and Clemens and Sosa and Manny Ramirez cheated? Of course they did.
Yes, I
Did-
agree.
Did steroids make them great players? Nope. In my opinion, they were already great players.
Yep.
You know, did it make Brady Anderson a great player? Yes.
Yes.
50
But he's
something
not going to the
home
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Those dudes were freaking studs. Everyone knew they were studs before.
Yeah. So, Mike, let me ask you a
Did
quick.
Bonds number pass Aaron because of steroids? Probably. But let's say he hit
Gotta hit the ball, dude. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you. You know, they're Hall of Famers because you go back to what you just said, greenies, racism, wife beaters. Like,
Right.
you know, yeah, there's some angels in the Hall of Fame, but I'll bet you, and I'm just throwing out a number guessing, I'll bet you there's more than 60 or 7% of those guys that were not angels.
Yeah. Well, for every Christy Mathewson, you're going to have 3,
Right.
you know.
So, I think they cheated the game a little bit, but was I going to Three River Stadium to see Sosa and McGuire in 1998? You bet your ass I was.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
I
So
got
what-
to see the guys, and I don't take that back for 1 minute.
When
I
did they
don't
pass
believe-
the laws? When did they pass the PED law?
It was like 04, 05 when you saw them all in the trials, like
Yeah.
Schilling and Palmero. Right around that time, there's when they officially made rules
Okay.
for
Because
that.
I mean, the big thing with I remember McGuire with the creatine thing, right? Creatine's something anybody can buy anywhere.
Yeah, GNC.
Yeah, GNC makes your muscles bigger when and because it retains water, whatever.
Right.
It's Mark McGuire was a tall guy when he came up, but if you look at him setting that rookie home run record, he wasn't a beast. You know what I mean? He was just a
Right.
tall dude, and he was.
Well,
He was, yeah, but he wasn't completely jacked up either. I
Yeah.
mean, he wasn't skinny like Bonds, but he didn't look like the Mark McGuire of 10 years later in a Cardinals
Right.
uniform back
Right.
then. He was going to hit home runs no matter what. So
and Pete Rose too.
he keeps
Come
his
on.
thing keeps getting worse though, Don. You know what I mean? Like
No, I'm just talking about what he did on the field.
yeah,
He didn't
yeah,
freaking
yeah.
cheat the game
yeah,
as a
I agree.
player. He didn't fix games.
right.
I'm not saying don't put an asterisk, but again, it's a freaking museum.
Yeah, he's a guy that I'm convinced they're going to punish.
Yeah.
Like meaning he'll get in within a few years of dying.
Yeah,
That's
was
exactly right.
Yeah,
Which sucks. It's like,
Yeah.
who are you to punish him?
right. He
Is how
played
I
the
look
game
at it.
as hard as anybody. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
the guy gave it all.
He would have fit in the 20s and the teens real well.
Is he a perfect guy or an asshole? Probably.
Right, right. But he's no
So
different than Hornsby was. He's no
Yeah.
different than Tris Speaker
Cobb.
was. Or Cobb. Come on, I hold Cobb in higher esteem than most people.
So do
Well,
I.
he got screwed on that first book.
But yeah, exactly. And the book that A Terrible Beauty that's out now, it's an amazing book. I highly recommend that. You have
Great
that with you,
stuff.
Ray? Yeah, it's an amazing book because it goes over some of those stories, saying if Stump said this, then how come this happened?
Charles Learson. You can, and I highly recommend. I do like a book thing here once in every couple months when I finish a book. I'm reading Koufax now.
Right.
If you look at this author, Charles Learson, on YouTube and look at his speeches and talks, he speaks at certain colleges about Cobb and everything. Really, really will change your opinion on Cobb. Not that he's trying to say Cobb
He wasn't
was an
perfect.
angel
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like a sweet as pie guy. He had a temper. He
Right.
definitely had a temper, but it was nowhere near
Yeah.
the racist or
It wasn't. That was all sensationalized. What
yeah. He
Stump did
said
was
Al
sensationalist.
Al
Yeah.
Stump did it to sell
Yeah.
books.
Get that book, Don. It's a fascinating book. I listened to it on Audible.
Yeah, that's how
it was
I'll
great. It was
do that.
phenomenal.
And I knew the Al Stump thing was a lot of
Yeah.
crap.
I do miss the fact that the players back in the day would run into the stands and beat the crap out of fans every now and then. I think that's something that should be let back. I think that we should allow
the
that.
book? Is it called Glory of Their Times?
Yeah, great book. Yeah.
Have you listened to not the podcast, the audio version?
Yeah, Mike Moynihan told me to listen to it, not read it, which is great because I
listened to it.
I
I
have a hard
didn't read
time
it
with words. Yeah, it's a great book. It's kind of neat, hearing these old timers. And
It's,
guess what?
They call that the baseball Bible. That book is the
Yeah.
glory of their times.
It's funny. That
fantastic.
book those interviews were in the 60s.
The 60s.
Yeah.
And hearing some of those guys going, oh, these players have it made now. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's over 50 years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
imagine what it would be now.
I thought it was cool because most of them said Cobb was
Yeah.
the
Real
biggest
deal.
competitor they've ever met and or played against, and Walter Johnson. They all, like to a man, almost said Walter Johnson was the toughest guy they ever faced pitching.
Yeah. I mean, the story of where that pitcher you see Cobb sliding in the home plate.
Yeah.
The catcher, his last name is Mitchell, and he's known for being the guy discovering Lou Gehrig as well. He was a scout for the Yankees after his career was over. And they even asked him, did Cobb purposely try and hit you, in the crotch area, whatever? And Percy said,
Right.
no. He said, it was my fault because there's that part of the plate he was blocking that was
Yeah.
for the runner.
Right.
And Cobb was just trying to get the ball out of the glove, which he did. He got the ball
Right.
out of his glove and went back to the backstop. He did nothing wrong. It was so sensationalized that he was this vicious. Yeah, he was aggressive, but he wasn't a cheap shot artist.
Didn't sharpen his spikes.
He didn't
right?
sharpen his spikes.
Yeah, it's all
Didn't
these
do any of that.
stories. Yeah, it really, the book was, and I'm Dylan Double D Vintage. He's got some preconceived notions about Cobb, and I don't blame him because that's the narrative about Cobb. But
Right.
that and another great book I hope both of you are reading is Joe Posnanski's Baseball 100.
Oh, I read
yet.
that already. That
Yeah.
book's awesome.
It's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
It's tough for me to get through a chapter. I'd love to do a chapter a night, but because
I did
every one of
audio.
those guys is great. Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Because it's the best 100
I
baseball
can't
players
read a
of all
book
time.
anymore. I have
I
to have
know.
like audio driving or.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little
Well,
bit of a cheap.
how I
bastard,
get my book ideas
Get
is
them
from
from
this
the
podcast.
library. I don't pay for them.
Oh,
How I get my book ideas is from this podcast called Baseball by the Book. So
Okay.
all of these books I've bought are from listening to the podcast, and I'll listen to it on half of it on the way to work and the other half of it on the way home. So like the Cobb book, every one of those books are in the Baseball by the Book podcast. So I highly recommend getting it. Oh, that's on my list too.
yeah, you got to get that. I haven't started it yet because
John, it's something about the 70s. It's like got
sorry.
the funky. It's
Yeah.
got like Dr. J on it or someone else.
it's got Oscar Gamble, of course.
That's it.
Big
I-
hair,
I
plastic
read-
grass.
I'm like,
Yeah, Dan, I had him on my show a while back.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm reading right now, Ray. And that's by
Stars and
Dan
Stripes?
Epstein. That's by
Dan
Dan
Epstein is a 70s.
Did you see my show with him?
No.
You got to watch my show with Dan Epstein. He was
All right,
on my
Dan
John,
Epstein?
I-
Yeah,
John.
watch it on YouTube. Yeah.
Dude, Dan Epstein's like a 70s guru.
Yeah,
He's
so
like-
he was I had him on a
What's up, Dave?
couple months ago or whatever in June.
all right, John, I got to ask you this because
Yeah.
I'm a dude that just sits in my basement, started making YouTube videos. Like, how in the frick? How do you know these dudes? How do you get them on your podcast? Like these authors and
reach out to him. I do. I just
just-
reach out to him. Like Dan,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I reach out to him on Twitter, and then Jay Daniel, same thing, right? Reach out to him on Twitter, and that's that. I mean, it's and when you have him on your show, it's just a conversation, right? Like,
No, I get that part, but I'm
but
like,
but
why
yeah,
would
I
they-
mean,
on my freaking stupid show.
in fact, I have a guy that has since reached out to me. He's an author of a book about the Braves, and it's like I got so many damn books to read. Like I can't read his book yet, and I'm sure as heck don't want to. I had to wait for Dan for me to finish Big Hair and Plastic Grass because
the
I'm
book.
not going to interview him ahead of time, right? I still have 2 other books of his to read. Same with Jay Daniel with the Finally. I had to finish that book before I interviewed him because I don't, this isn't
No,
Good
that makes
Morning America. You know what I mean? Where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, this is the book. I want to be able to ask him questions about the books. But there will be more on the horizon because there's a bunch of people out there that write books about the 70s. And I think it's awesome. The 80s, the 80s was the one I just had on with Jay Daniel because, like I said, the Phillies and the Royals each won 3 championships until the divisions until Pittsburgh screwed that up and Baltimore screwed that up. Or the Angels, I guess, in 79. But, like the 80s, 1980 was the culmination of all that 70s stuff, in my opinion. It's like the graduation ceremony for the 70s.
Mhm.
And then, first World Series on AstroTurf completely. 2 kind of first-year managers. Dallas Green was an interim manager prior to that, but it was
Jim
just
Fry.
it was like the top of the mountain of the 70s, and then the 80s went into a different world. There were no more dynasties in the 80s, right? Think about the 70s. The A's won 3 in a row, Reds won 2 in a row, Yankees won 2 in a row, and Pirates bookended that, right? And I believe
could add
it
the
was it
Orioles.
70 was the Orioles, right? So it's like there was only 4 teams that were winning World Series in the
Kind
in
of like
the,
today.
yeah. I don't even know who won last year. I guess it was the Dodgers.
Braves.
Oh, the Braves.
Braves.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty lame, aren't I?
That's right.
I
But
could
see,
tell you who
this
won the
is
Premier League in
back
England
then,
last year.
when we were collecting cards. Like today, you could say, who did Felix Millan play for? Like the Mets.
Mets.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
you
for
know
sure.
those guys.
And
Where today,
yeah, you're
my
right.
God, I don't even know half the guys on the Pirates.
And I just thought of
It's
this
true,
when you
yeah.
said that, Don, is I don't remember. I remember who the good teams were, but you didn't really realize how bad the bad teams were. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
no,
like that
dude.
didn't matter to you. It's just
No.
like you knew the players.
hard.
Like Dave Kingman
Played for
probably
the
never
Mets.
even won a coin toss in his career yet.
Yeah.
We all knew who Dave Kingman was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm like, oh, Roy Smalley played for the Twins. His dad. There's a card with him and his dad. Played like
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And he played for
no
Gene
reason
Mark,
to
who was his
be-
uncle, right?
you know.
And all those brothers pitching, the Rushells and the
Oh, the
Forshes, and
Russells,
you
the
know what I mean. It's a good
Forshes.
time. And Brett, right?
Brett.
Ken
Yeah.
Brett was a better hitter one time than George Brett.
Ken Brett was a good major leaguer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
not
here
for
we
the
go.
Phillies,
This is
but
it, man. I shamed Dylan into making a public confession. He's reading the Cobb book now, and it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
top 100 book is all time. So
That, out of all the baseball books I've read, the Cobb book is number 1 for me, without a
I
doubt.
agree with you,
I was
Gary. I don't know how John only has 196 subs.
that's okay. It's 196
Oh,
and
but he-
dropping. We're headed the other way. People.
Yeah, John, I don't remember how I found you, but I think you had 15 subs.
Yeah, you were
I
one
was
of the
like,
earlier ones,
Fox,
man.
my generation. You got
Right.
that freaking radio voice. You're sarcastic, which I love.
Listen, I don't
I'm like,
self promote. That's the thing, and I don't.
Neither do I.
I just try to.
Neither does
My thing is, I just try to learn. Right? It's Pink Floyd and it's baseball cards, and sometimes they come together and get. This is a Pink Floyd baseball card, PSA 5. So as long as I have
didn't
those 2
realize
things in
what
my
a
life.
Pink Floyd fan you were until I saw your tattoo tonight, and I heard your text.
Where do you see my tramp stamp? I'll show you my tramp
Oh,
stamp.
no, please, no. We don't want to see
Yeah,
that.
we're good. I prefer the '80s chicks with big hair on this video.
I'll reveal that in Chicago 2023.
I would need a few beers for that.
So
You know
Mark
what?
Coyle is going to tell you that Ken Brett pitched in the World Series at 18, and I'm guessing it was for the Red Sox in 1967. That's just a hunch I have.
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Probably.
18.
Yeah, he
That's
was.
crazy.
Yeah, he was considered. And here's another thing that I didn't realize, and I don't know whether you knew this, Ray. In that book, finally, I found out that George Brett was taken 1 pick ahead of Mike Schmidt.
They were back to back.
in the
Were
second
they
round.
really?
Yeah, is that crazy or what?
Yeah.
Third baseman, and
You couldn't go wrong with either pick. There.
Yeah, and Brett was out of high school, and
Shoot
which
was
is
out of
why it took
college.
him. That's why he didn't come out until 74, 75. He didn't make it to the majors, and then Schmidt.
Mike
was
Schmidt played at Ohio U.
yeah,
Ohio
world's
U
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Was
So that
she
was
guys know Nina.
what's that?
Her channel, Nina.
I've seen Nina on.
Nina
I want to say on Hobby Palooza
Yeah, and she
or some other ones, right?
shit all
She's
the
on.
time 'cause
Yeah,
she makes great videos every.
I have to. I don't know where she is. I have to subscribe to her. 'Cause I need some
I actually went to a
subscriptions.
baseball game with her a couple months ago, but she
Yeah.
lives down near OU.
Oh, does she in Athens? Is it? Is that where that is? Athens, Ohio.
How
Yeah.
do you know that, John?
I've been everywhere. Listen,
Oh,
Damn.
you got to understand.
Well, like
When I
Peter-
toured, you ever hear 10,000 Maniacs?
yeah.
So I toured with them for a while, off and on for like 10 years, and we would play every college in the country. I've been to Worcester, I've been to
That's an odd-
Athens, I've been to everywhere. So a lot of those college towns I've been to. Yeah.
That's
Plus, it
why
was
I
all.
love getting together with you guys. Man, we're
Yeah.
the same age, mid '80s, late '80s, talking about this crap.
Well, we better do it soon, because your arm fell off, and Ray
I know.
can't fit into his skinny jeans. Now that he's wearing granny panties, he can't get into his
Now I'm
stage.
wearing their stretch elastic sweatshorts.
They call those maternity pants. or
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm not
Raise were maternity clothes.
I found jeans that have elastic waistbands. Listen, let me tell you, greatest
great.
invention of all time. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I'm stuck on size 30 for a waist. I do not have to go to a 36 now.
All right, we got a serious question from Blink
Dude, I
Scott.
saw you at the National. There's no way in hell you're a 36.
What do you think? Ray's a
Bigger?
resident Hall of Famer here, I think, right?
Bigger?
Hey, you saw me. I'm a big dude too.
Yeah.
You see the question there, Ray?
What is it?
Does any of the steroid guys make the contemporary baseball era baseball ballot this fall?
Oh, this fall? I don't know. He's talking about Barry Bonds and Clemens. I think Schilling's on that list as well. I think Schilling will get in before.
Ed Bozier.
That's the guy that got screwed.
You know what? I don't like Schilling. Okay.
I don't like him personally, but
I don't either, but he deserves to be.
yeah.
What did they say? I think
What
they
do your
said it.
politics have to do with baseball?
No,
It's-
no. I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying. What are you drinking there? You drinking Gatorade? Is
Yeah,
that Ensure? What are you drinking?
that's good.
Pedialyte? What do you got?
It's sure.
Ensure.
Fruit juice, you old fuck. Excuse me.
So I don't like Schilling, and I think it's in Poznanski's book where it was once said that you don't get anywhere like for the 1 day a week, or the 1 day Randy Johnson pitches, you stay away from Randy Johnson. They say for all the days Kurt Schilling pitched, none of his teammates wanted anything to do with him. Powerade, nice. So it's like he always seemed like such a crappy teammate, even when he was in Philly. I think Ray and I might have talked about the team
The
hated
tail.
him. Yeah,
The tail on the head.
yeah.
In the 93 World Series, I was like, they blew him up on Sports Talk the next day after
Was it
that.
the baseball hall of nice guys?
No, I think
Nah.
he's the Terrell Davis of baseball, and I don't think Terrell Davis belongs in the NFL Hall of Fame. I think Terrell Davis had a couple really good years, but if you look at, there's a million guys who had more, and that's a stretch, but there's a lot of guys who had more wins and similar won-loss percentage than Schilling did. I know I'm picking nits, but I don't know. I just
This December, I know Schilling's on this with Bonds and Clemens, and I do think eventually they're going to put Bonds and Clemens in. I don't know, and I think the reason why that's going to happen as the older writers start to retire and move on, and you get younger writers, and they're just going to look straight on numbers,
right.
and they're going to be like, how's this guy not in? And you're like, well, he took steroids. Well, did he really take steroids? Well, he never failed a test. Well, then why is he not? It's going to be like that kind of a thing where they're just going to like let him in, Now, what kind of reaction he's going to get is crazy if he does get in. Now, as far as Pete Rose, someone made a good point on the podcast that I listened to. He's this guy who wrote a book where he's like the enforcer of MLB baseball, where he looks for things. They hired him to to look for anyone
Right.
doing anything bad. Like I forgot his name, but he says he really feels that Pete Rose was being made an example of. Like, do you honestly think since he got suspended in 1989 that there hasn't been one player that has it betted illegally since 1989? Not one. Like he's the only one since 1989. That's 33 years ago. Like you really think that there hasn't been anybody that hasn't done or
Right.
even doing it now? Like,
Well,
come on.
it's come out fairly recently about the whole there that was kind of a two-parter, right?
Mhm.
About the gambling thing. I mean, his way off the field activities supposedly played a role in that too, and baseball was more worried about that. And that's that's why they were able to hold that over his head and keep
The
him away
people
from the
he
game.
was, the company he was keeping was bad. Like he was hanging around some
Right.
bad dudes. But
Well, I mean, it wasn't dude to dude. It was like
Be right back, guys.
look at the lower right of the background here. It was,
oh yeah, the chicks.
you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
teenage girls supposedly. So,
Yeah.
and I think they used that as leverage, which made them look like they were doing things.
Right.
We love the game, but it hasn't been honorable. There's always been shenanigans in baseball.
Mhm.
And I think that, they were able to uphold that perception of we're cleaning this up and we're righteous and upright, and yet holding over Rose's head the off the field and in the bed activities that really were a big issue
Right.
for him. Bink Scott, Joe Carter. Joe Carter, by the way, might be a sore subject with Ray and I. So I don't know where the audience you should be telling this to, because we're both from Philadelphia. And we didn't survive a walk-off home run in the World Series. Let me see what's going on here. I'm going to try to share my screen, and I don't know whether we'll be able to see it, Ray, but we're going to share anyway.
Okay.
This is probably Ray and my favorite website, Baseball Reference.
Right.
259 career hitter, Bink. An RCH over 2,000 career hits. If you don't know what an RCH is, you can look that up. Scored a lot of runs, drove in a lot of people, under 400 home runs. Do you think that's Hall of Fame stuff right there? Led the league in categories including games played and at bats. He did get hit by pitch 10 times and lead the league there, but I don't know. He was an awesome player. What's up, Herman? How are you? Awesome player, but is he worthy of the Hall of Fame? We're talking about Joe Carter, Don. I say nay, and I've got nothing against Joe Carter at all.
I got to be honest, and I heard you were just going with stats. I got the end of it. I don't really know his stats off the top of my head.
306 on base percentage is not that hot.
Yeah, but
right?
Eye test, no.
Yeah. I thought Joe Carter had a better batting average than that, truthfully, and I don't think that
he was a power hitter. I mean, he had quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, if he
30
didn't hit
homer
that home
seasons.
run, the end of the World Series, kind of like Mazeroski,
Tell me
we've been
about it,
talking
man.
about those two.
He's the Bucky effing Dent in Philadelphia history by hitting that home run. Who did he hit that off? The Wild thing?
Yep.
Oh, Joe Carter? Yeah, Mitch Williams.
Yeah. I don't know, Bink. I think that's obviously we got to put
close.
him. We have to put him behind, obviously behind the Cobra and Al Oliver for sure. And I put something in the chat as well that I don't think should be overlooked. That needs to happen sometime soon.
Yeah, me and Gary talk about a lot of players for Hall of Fame all the time, and Kurt Flood's come up a numerous amount of times. It's if not for a player, at least for a pioneer
for sure
in the game for
Guy
free
took
agents.
he took a bullet. He took a bullet for
big
baseball
time.
players.
If Marvin Miller's in the Hall of Fame, and there's a lot of guys who aren't great players that are pioneers that have a huge significant impact.
I mean, you got to put it up there with, maybe not up there with, but it's on the lines with Jackie Robinson.
No, you read my mind.
Yeah.
I said I was going to say the same thing.
But you know what here? And nobody will ever discount what Jackie Robinson did. This is a guy, though, that may have been on a Hall of Fame trajectory to begin with.
Yes.
Kurt Flood, right? On the field, he gave it all up for
Right.
what he believed in. You know what I mean? Like these guys this year go on strike in 2022 or whatever it is. They go on strike, they got $60 million in the bank. Right. Like,
right.
you know what I mean?
Thanks to him.
These guys are selling cars in the off season, right? Or what? I mean, Kurt
Exactly
Flood.
was picked.
Yeah, Kurt
Oh.
Flood was no angel. Like he had some off the field issues, nothing that hurt anybody
Yeah,
else. Yeah,
yeah,
but
but
like
that
he
had
was,
nothing to
he
do
gave
with-
up everything. He gave
They
up
did.
everything. You know.
And then he got blackballed.
Yeah. So, and it ruined his life because it sent him into, he went from a successful, baseball player to nearly Skid Row, and it ruined his family life. It ruined his personal life, his business.
All
life,
these
the whole thing.
guys from the 70s on should be thanking their lucky stars for Kurt Flood.
Yeah. And it's interesting because part of that was nobody, for as much as I love Willie Mays and as much as I love Roberto Clemente and Hank Aaron and Ernie Banks, all these guys that were towards the end of their careers, none of them stepped forward.
Nope.
And I'm not singling them out, but I'm saying none of those guys stepped
Nobody did.
forward.
No.
Nobody stepped forward for this. Zero people stepped forward, players. And what he was doing was for them. I mean, the Players
One
Association
player.
was behind him.
One player went with him to trial, and that was Bob Gibson. But Bob Gibson didn't really stand up for him. He said,
Yeah.
"I'm going to be behind you, but I'm going to be way behind you."
Yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I mean, he was one of the, if not the best defensive center fielder in the 60s. I mean, Mays was towards the end, and Mantle was definitely towards the end. But a
Yeah.
center fielder, he's 7-time Gold Glove Award winner.
Yeah.
He was on his way to a Hall of Fame career, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it's funny because he was offensively, he held his own. He was a great center fielder, obviously, but he was at the point right there in his 1969 season. He had 1,854 hits, and he was 31 years old. So he would have been well into the 2000s in hits. Career around 300, 293, right? So I
Yep.
mean, he was doing all right. He was doing all right. So I mean, I hate to make it the Kurt Flood show, but I think that guy needs to be in the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
What do you
He's-
guys
he's
think
the
about a
best.
guy like Jim Abbott?
I mean, you want
anyone
you
else?
want me to disparage Jim Abbott? Is that what
Okay,
you're-
here's my point, because I know it's ridiculous, but you're freaking handicapped with one hand and you made the major league.
amazing?
How
Absolutely.
many other
amazing.
guys can do that?
didn't he pitch a no-hitter?
Yeah.
Like, how, like,
Yeah.
yes, he's not Bob Gibson. he's
But
not-
what does that what
Yeah.
the thing is, that's a wonderful feat, and it's definitely better than what Eddie Goodell did, but he also went 2-18 one year.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not saying he should be in the Hall of Fame, and maybe they do have something in the Hall of Fame about him.
What do you
I
think
read
about I was going to ask you, what do you think about the drummer from Def Leppard? Does he belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Hell yeah.
I
mean,
no,
those-
it's amazing feat, right?
yeah,
Like,
they don't
that's
belong in the Hall of
amazing.
Fame, but
Yeah.
there should
I
be.
think he
and
should be
maybe there is
recognized.
something about
He
Abbott in there. Like,
Is
that's-
there's people like Mark Hoyle that know the Hall of Fame inside out? Is there any kind of Jim Abbott display in the Hall of Fame? Because there's no reason why there shouldn't be. There you go. Mark says Abbott has stuff in the Hall of Fame.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I didn't really mean he was
Yeah.
on the level of those guys, but just
Yeah.
to overcome that. And I think the Def Leppard drummer, that's amazing. Believe it. Dude fucked up his life in a car wreck.
Yeah, yeah.
Came
Wrecked,
back and invented playing drums with one hand and his
wrecked
feet.
a perfectly good Corvette. And
Yep.
yeah. I mean, that's a wonderful story for sure, right? Jim Abbott, but
But I
No.
guess I go back to that. That's the story of baseball. Joe Jackson's the story
yeah,
of baseball.
yeah. for
Rose
sure.
is the story of baseball. Like,
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I look at it like
That's what's great about
history.
collecting baseball cards, right? It isn't about, and I'm on my soapbox, it isn't about finding the purple or the pink or the zebra or the whatever. You keep going back and finding those stories, right? You know, I got a guy, 2 of the 1918 blankets I have from a tobacco pack that's it from, you know, has Ray Keating's name on it. I got nothing to do with Ray Keating, but you find those people back in history and you collect something like that, right? That's what's cool about finding those stories. Andrew mentions Pete Gray, right? Guy who
One arm.
Yeah, one arm. Mordecai, right? 3-Finger Brown
Mordecai
guy.
Brown, right.
You know what I mean? Like that guy. There's no way that guy should be pitching in the major leagues, but whatever happened to him actually made him pitch a little bit better for however mangled up his arm was or his hand, right? There's so many stories like that.
Here comes the upcoming ballot for the contemporary ballot. And I'm going to mention some of these names and you guys tell me what you think. We don't have to have a long discussion on each one of them. Just like the top 10 guys on this list coming up. So I'll start with the bottom. They have Willie Randolph.
No.
Yay or
I
nay?
say no, good player, but I mean he started out in Pittsburgh, right? But
Terrible trade with the Pirates, right?
who'd you get? Doc Medich, right?
We got Doc Medich.
Rafael Palmeiro.
He's
Yeah.
a jerk off, but he certainly
He did not
hit
do steroid. The
Yeah.
point. Remember in the point?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
but
not.
I mean, this is a guy that could. He was a good hitter when he came up with
It's
the
a great
Cubs,
hitter.
You know, like a batting average hitter. hit
Beautiful
for
swing.
contact. You know, and then you know he ends up with however many home runs and whatever.
Over 500.
Over
3,000
500 and
hits,
3,000 hits. Yeah. David Cohn.
No.
No, I'm with Don on that.
Next guy, I've totally gotten persuaded into him, and that's Kenny Lofton.
Where are you seeing this information?
Hallofstats.com.
I got you. Kenny
Oh,
Lofton.
Good.
600 stolen bases.
Yeah, and nobody will ever get 600 stolen bases again.
I really like Kenny Lofton. I think he's got a really good shot to get in, and not this year. but-
Never won the big one though, did he?
No.
What was his batting average, Ray?
For Lofton,
Yeah.
he's pretty
I'll,
close.
I'll
to
find
three.
that out for that. That'll be my job because I suck
Okay.
at trying to find Hall of Stats. Can't spell Hall of or Stats.
Yeah,
Career
that's-
batting average. Oh, well, how unfortunate. 299.
299.
I
How
hate when
terrible
that
is
happens.
that?
Yeah. Still behind Oliver and Parker in hits, though.
I'm actually shocked it was that high.
Yeah.
6-time All-Star, 4 Gold Gloves, 2,428 hits,
How many hits, Ray?
299 average, 2,428.
Yeah. 1,500
Yeah, I'm
runs
going to say
scored.
yes on him.
Behind
Eventually,
Parker
yeah,
and behind Oliver, please.
Right.
Yes, right. Next up, Kevin Brown. I'm saying no.
See, well, hold on a second. Before we do this, this is where the hater comes out. Other than, well, he did win a World Series with Florida.
You winning a Cy Young?
His record, he did not win a Cy Young. He won 2 ERA titles, and he was a 6-time All-Star. His record is comparable to Schilling's.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did he do in the World Series?
He won one. What did he do actually in it? He was hold on a
I
second.
don't know.
211 wins, which nowadays is like
Yeah.
you're not going to get anybody getting 200 wins.
Oh, by the way, Don,
Yes.
what did he do in the World Series? He batted 500 in the 1997 World Series. He was 1 for 2. The 500 hitter in the World Series. If you
Okay, I'm sold. He's in.
let's see, in the World Series he went. He lost probably both games of that World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too good.
I still
He's
put
5-5
Schilling.
postseason.
Joe Carter hit a walk-off home run in the World Series and doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So that doesn't.
Same with Mazeroski.
Yeah.
Here's the next guy that I think we're all going to agree on, Lou Whitaker.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Lou.
Well, let me
Whitaker
ask you a
is-
question. What would you say that? Because I know what my answer would be. Would you say that if Trammell wasn't in?
No.
I agree with Don.
I would say no.
Yeah,
If
but I
Trammell's
think
in, that's probably the they're the longest double play combo in the history of the game. No one's played short and second together longer than them two. And Whitaker was no joke, man. He was a great player.
Yeah. I just think I think that's what shines that spotlight on there is, and that's what makes it such a crime is like, how could you have one
And not
and
the
not,
other.
and not the other, right?
Rookie of the Year, 4-time Silver Slugger, 5 All-Stars, 3 Gold Gloves, 2369 hits.
But you
Yeah.
look at Ray, 5 All-Star games. You look at Aaron and Musial, 24 All-Stars.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Like
Hey.
to me, like I said, I'm small ball. But if these guys are already in, you can't change it.
So real quick here, Schilling was 216 and 146 for 597 win percentage. Brown was 211 and 144 for 594. Brown had a 3.28 ERA and Schilling had a 3.46 ERA. Shutouts 17 for Brown, 20 for Schilling. I mean, they're pretty darn close there.
But I think
they're-
what gets
they're-
Schilling the nod is because of the bloody sock and the Arizona World Series. And,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree with you, but
His
you know,
postseason
and that's
was
why,
unreal.
and that gets me back to the Terrell Davis thing. Is Terrell Davis? If Terrell Davis wasn't in those Super Bowls, then or didn't win those Super Bowls, then I don't think his regular season stats get him into the
True.
Hall of Fame.
right. Yep. The next 3 guys they have is Schilling, Clemens, and Bonds, and we pretty much went on that. But on the ballot, the first time on the ballot, Carlos Beltran.
He's in, right? For sure.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Come on, man.
As a player, yeah. But
Well,
the
what else would
scandal
he get?
thing with the
Let him in.
the
well, he
Houston
was-
Astros with the trash cans and all
Yeah, but that's yeah. I mean, it's
That
not
goes
like
back. Did that make
Yeah.
him a better player?
dude, 435 home runs.
His
I don't
numbers are
know.
great.
Yeah. His numbers are a lot like Parker's numbers, so maybe I was too soon on that. I'm trying to compare Trammell and
Beltran's 9 All-Stars.
was he the guy who they weren't sure of his age when he came up?
I just
Like,
feel like
yes.
this is the Hall of really good.
Yeah, but
I know these other guys are in. Baines.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It is tough, Don. Though it's tough because
It's
Yeah,
still
Whitaker-
1%.
Whitaker had more home runs, more RBIs, more runs scored.
Than who?
Than
Than
Trammell.
Yeah.
Batting average. I can't find a batting average, but not that. Oh, and slightly lower batting average. Man, they're neck and neck, those two. So one gets in the other. So if you
I
already got
agree.
one
And
in,
they just retired. Detroit just retired Whitaker's number, which
So you don't-
always helps.
when's McGriff getting in? Have we
That's
have we been in?
prime right there.
We
That
got
guy
that
should be
invitation yet?
He's next year for 2024. Yeah, he's on the
But who
temporary.
who does he leap in front of though?
That's what I'm
Contemporary.
saying. Like
Yeah.
you got to see the guys that are going
There's
to
a
be on that ballot.
backlog. How many? Is it the same voting thing where you have to let there's only going to be X amount of guys getting in? I mean, I guess if all the writers were aligned, then you could let 10 of the guys in, right, or whatever, because you get 10 votes.
Well, right. Well, for McGriff, he's gone up against
Dick Allen,
he's gone up against Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Kurt Schilling, Lou Whitaker, all those guys I just mentioned, Mark McGuire, Buddy Bell, Palmeiro, Brett Saberhagen, Keith Hernandez, who's building
I
up a
don't-
lot of steam.
yeah, I know he is, but I'm not on that train.
I can't believe Buddy Bell's on that list.
Buddy Bell. Yeah. Dwight Evans.
Well, you're going to find some Dwight Evans fans here.
Yep.
At least two of
And
them.
Will Clark's on this list, Hershiser and McGriff. So I don't know if McGriff leaps over.
Where's Sheffield?
Sheffield is still on the voters ballot.
Still on the okay.
I think it depends on what the guys think about the steroid guys for McGriff. Like, if they're
Yeah, that's
both
why I
in,
don't think Bonds and Clemens will get in right away. I think
Yeah.
from this list,
so that might
Schillings
give
will.
McGriff a chance.
Yeah.
They got close though, aren't? I mean, didn't Clemens get close this year?
Nah, and they're in the
Oh, cool.
sort of. Yeah, they were in the 60s percentile,
Yeah, right.
which is
So-
pretty good. Pretty good.
Wow, the love for Dewey Evans is even more.
Yeah.
More out there than I thought. I didn't. Mr. Fisher Bike, of course, and Bing Scott, Mark
Of
Coyle,
course.
and
Jason's
myself.
on there.
So we got 4 votes at least. So
Veda Pinson.
Veda, oh, poor Veda.
He's not getting in.
Stavens on. All right, so Evans is in according to Class of '85 live stream. Well, fellas, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, 2
You
hours.
guys have got to
almost.
be exhausted. We're old
We've been on
people.
2 hours?
Yeah. Well, remember I started 15 minutes before you guys realized we were on the
Well,
air.
that's true.
All right. Chris says Dewey as well. So okay,
I
I'm
must like
make-
you guys. I'm putting this up for Penn State football.
yeah. How did they do there? How did they do against those poor
It's
boys?
20-10 right now.
Oh man. Well, good luck.
Ah.
How's the backyard brawl going?
I have no clue.
No. Okay.
I'm still staring at these big hair chicks and loving it. I like the
I'm
girl in the tan orange.
I'm picturing Ray having the conversation with his drummer or his guitarist about his wardrobe, saying, "There's no way I'm wearing.
There's no
spandex."
way I'm going out there with spandex with no underwear on, dude.
You're
There's
like,
just
hey, I play
no
guitar in this band.
way.
Baby.
So you guys are gonna have to go back and listen to that.
You want to hear
There's
a little
a scene
Quiet
in the-
Riot?
There's a scene in a movie that Mark Wahlberg did, John,
Yeah.
called Rockstar.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guitar player's in the backstage and he's wearing spandex. And Jennifer Aniston's like, "Are you wearing underwear?" And he's like, "I'm freezing my ass off. I ain't going out there with no underwear." She gets a pair of scissors and pulls his underwear up and pulls them out. And that was me, man, in 1984. I was like, I'm not going out there with no underwear.
I love it, man. I love it, dude.
It's cold, man.
Oh,
No, I agree. I disagree, Jason. I think the one in the orange is hot. You can have the one to the left. I'll take the one in the orange.
well, this reminds me of Randy Rhodes down here. This gal on the bottom right. Randy Rhodes was my hero.
Randy
so-
Rhodes is awesome.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
my
Jamie
guy.
I
died
just
in
watched a
Plain Sight.
documentary on him last night on Prime. It was phenomenal.
You'll have to forward that to me because I'm gonna have to.
Hey, he
I
played
just
with
watched
Ozzy,
it last
right?
night. It was
Oh,
great.
that's amazing. He was my guy. He was incredible. Absolutely incredible. What's your favorite Ozzy Osbourne song with Randy Rhodes?
For me, it's I Don't Know from Blizzard of Oz.
Okay. I'm going with, I know it sounds dumb, but I think sonically, Tonight is my favorite song just because it's got the acoustic and it's got everything in it.
I'm mainstream, and I'm not 100% Randy Rhodes played on this, but Crazy Trains.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he did,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. He wrote that, dude. That's
Okay.
his. Yeah, he's the
Well, I'm not
Ozzy.
as good as
Ozzy
you
didn't
guys.
come up with that riff. I'll tell you that, man.
Crazy
That was a-
Train's my song.
Yeah.
Ozzy didn't come up with any.
Didn't come up with any of that stuff. Yeah. All right, chaps. Thanks.
All right, guys, we got to do this again, man.
We looked like trying to get this thing going was like watching your grandparents operate a remote control. It took us like a half an hour to get to the
But we
point where
morphed into the 80s.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
no problem.
We got to call this the mid '80s crew or something.
All right, we'll have to do it. We'll get some more of
Midlife
our
Crisis crew.
yeah, we'll have to get more of our Pennsylvania folks
Yes.
on because I think that'd be great to do a Pennsyltucky
Pennsyltucky.
round table, you know, be good. So, and there's plenty of us out there. So, all right, thanks you for watching and listening, everybody. We didn't do this for any other reason other than Don says, "Hey, let's get together and chat." So,
Yeah,
it was,
man.
it was great, and we appreciate you guys stopping by. We just would have been talking about Cinderella and Quiet Ride,
spandex.
yeah, it's raised spandex issues. So, thanks. We'll do it again some other time. All right.
All right, later, guys.
Later, guys. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
It's fun.
Bye.
Bye.